Rayan Al-Masri and Selena Farouk arrived in Hawaii as the picture of perfection, a dazzling Dubai couple on their honeymoon. But within 48 hours, one of them would vanish without a trace, and the other would be caught on CCTV pushing a cart no one was supposed to see. The Ocean Pearl Resort shimmered under the Hawaiian sun like a jewel rising from the sea. Waves curled lazily along the shore, and the breeze carried the faint scent of salt and orchids through the palm trees. It was a paradise crafted for lovers, for dreamers, for those searching for escape. When Rayan Al-Masri and Selena Farouk arrived that July afternoon, they looked like the picture of perfection. A newlywed couple from Dubai, beginning a new chapter under golden skies. Rayan, 31, was a rising architect with a reputation for precision and charm. Everything about him was neat and deliberate. The way he dressed, the way he spoke, the way he smiled for cameras. Selena, 28, was a digital artist whose vivid imagination had built her a quiet following online. Her art, filled with swirling colors and dreamlike imagery, often depicted women surrounded by water. She said it made her feel calm. To those who saw them at the airport, they looked deeply in love, holding hands, laughing softly. Yet beneath their polished appearance, something fragile lingered, like glass under pressure. Their journey to Hawaii was not spontaneous. It had been meticulously planned, down to the last reservation and itinerary. Rayan had booked the Ocean Pearl's honeymoon suite, a luxurious room with a wraparound balcony overlooking the Pacific. The suite was immaculate, decorated in soft tones of white and gold, with orchids placed carefully beside the bed. Hotel staff recalled how Rayan complimented the design, while Selena stood silently by the window, staring out at the waves. Her reflection in the glass looked distant, almost disconnected from the man beside her. The first day passed peacefully. They lounged by the infinity pool, drank tropical cocktails, and posted smiling photos to social media. Rayan's captions spoke of love and gratitude. Selena's posts, however, were subdued. A single image of the ocean, captioned only with a blue heart. At dinner, witnesses later recalled they barely spoke. Rayan seemed irritated, scrolling through his phone, while Selena traced the rim of her glass, lost in thought. That night, the front desk received a complaint from the floor below their suite. Guests had heard a loud thud, followed by muffled sounds. When hotel security knocked on the couple's door, Rayan opened it with an easy smile. He apologized for the noise, explaining it was just the television, and promised to turn it down. Selena wasn't visible. When asked if everything was fine, Rayan nodded, thanked the staff, and closed the door. Nothing seemed unusual then. But in hindsight, that moment became the first red flag. Later that evening, surveillance footage captured Selena walking through the hotel lobby alone. She wore a white dress and carried her sketchbook. She seemed calm but distracted, pausing for several seconds to stare at a large aquarium by the elevator. When she returned to the suite, her expression had changed. She appeared hesitant, glancing over her shoulder before disappearing from the camera's view. That was the last time anyone, apart from Rayan, saw her alive. Behind the closed door of Suite 908, something began to unravel. Staff later described hearing faint noises throughout the night, the shuffle of furniture, the click of the balcony door, a low humming sound that seemed to come and go. Yet, when the morning came, everything was quiet. The maid assigned to clean the hallway saw Rayan stepping out for breakfast, cheerful as ever, greeting her politely. There was no trace of distress, no sign that anything was wrong. For the rest of the day, Selena was nowhere to be seen. Rayan explained to the front desk that his wife was feeling unwell and preferred to rest. He spent the afternoon by the pool, chatting with other guests, ordering drinks, laughing at small talk. His phone, however, never left his hand. The Ocean Pearl Resort, built for beauty and serenity, had seen countless honeymoons before, but this one was different. Beneath the flawless facade of a perfect couple, something cold and irreversible was taking shape. While the sun dipped below the horizon and the Pacific turned dark, the newlywed story shifted quietly from romance to something else entirely. Something the hotel would never forget. The morning of July the 9th began quietly at the Ocean Pearl Resort. The sky was soft and clear, with the early light painting the ocean in shades of silver. Guests trickled into the breakfast area, chatting about snorkeling tours and sunset cruises. Among them was Rayan Al-Masri, dressed neatly in a light blue shirt, his demeanor calm and polite. He greeted the staff with his usual charm, The investigation into Selena Farouk's disappearance began quietly, but quickly drew international attention. The image of a glamorous newlywed couple from Dubai vanishing into the serenity of a Hawaiian resort was too strange to ignore. Detectives from the Honolulu Police Department worked alongside Interpol, tracing every movement, transaction, and message from the days leading up to her disappearance. What started as a missing person case soon began to feel like something much darker. At first, suspicion centered on Rayan Al-Masri. His calm demeanor during questioning stood out, almost too controlled. When contacted by authorities in Los Angeles, where he had traveled immediately after leaving Hawaii, he appeared cooperative, insisting that Selena had stayed behind to finish an art project. He claimed they had a minor argument before he left, describing her as emotional but insisting she would come around. Investigators found it unusual how detached he seemed when referring to her, as if she were merely an acquaintance rather than a missing wife. Back in Dubai, Selena's friends painted a different picture. They revealed that the couple's marriage, despite its fairy tale image online, had been crumbling for months. Rayan's architectural firm had been facing financial ruin after several failed investments. In an attempt to salvage his reputation, he had secretly used Selena's name and business accounts to secure loans, leaving her unknowingly responsible for a large debt. When she discovered the deception shortly before their honeymoon, she was devastated. Friends recalled her saying she needed time to figure out what to do next, but she had still gone ahead with the trip. Perhaps to find closure, perhaps to give him one last chance. Investigators obtained access to the couple's shared online accounts. Buried within their emails were exchanges that revealed subtle tension. Selena mentioning her wish for space, Rayan responding with affection that felt almost forced. What caught attention most was a single draft message in Selena's email that was never sent. It read simply, "If something happens to me, it won't be an accident." The timestamp showed it had been written the night before she vanished. While Rayan continued to deny involvement, inconsistencies began to emerge. He claimed he last saw Selena in their suite around midnight, yet hotel security footage told another story. At 2:47 a.m., a man resembling Rayan was seen in the service corridor behind the main elevator, pushing a large housekeeping cart. The cart appeared unusually heavy, its wheels wobbling under the weight. His face was turned away from the camera, but one small detail stood out, a distinct silver wristwatch glinting under the dim lights. Investigators later confirmed it matched the limited edition watch Rayan was known to wear, visible in numerous social media photos. Hotel employees told detectives that guests were not permitted in that area, which was used only by staff during cleaning hours. The elevator he used led down to the maintenance basement, an area seldom visited, even by employees. The footage ended there. What happened after the elevator doors closed remained a mystery. Interpol soon discovered that Rayan had changed his flight at the last minute, leaving Hawaii one day earlier than planned. Records showed he had purchased his ticket in cash. When his luggage was examined upon his arrest in Los Angeles, investigators found no trace of blood or physical evidence. However, a receipt tucked inside his passport wallet revealed a purchase from a hardware store near the resort. Cleaning supplies, gloves, and a roll of heavy-duty plastic wrap, all bought late at night. Despite the mounting evidence, Rayan's defense remained unwavering. He claimed the hotel cameras were mistaken, that the footage was a coincidence. He said the supplies were for cleaning art materials, though no such project was ever mentioned by Selena. The more he spoke, the less sense his story made. Detectives returned to Hawaii to re-examine the scene. They interviewed hotel staff once more, trying to fill the missing hours between midnight and dawn. One janitor recalled something strange, a faint metallic sound echoing through the service corridor that night, like a cart rolling unevenly. Another mentioned hearing the soft beep of the basement elevator long after it should have been inactive. Each small detail painted a clearer picture of what might have happened, but there was still no body, no conclusive proof. The press began calling it the Vanishing Bride of Honolulu. Theories flooded social media, an accident, a cover-up, even supernatural speculation. But behind the sensationalism, the truth remained hidden somewhere within the walls of the Ocean Pearl Resort. Selena Farouk had disappeared without a trace, but every piece of evidence seemed to whisper the same name, Rayan. Yet until the moment her body was found, the case remained a haunting puzzle with one chilling certainty. Someone had gone to great lengths to make her vanish, and they had nearly succeeded. The search for answers deepened as detectives focused on the Ocean Pearl Resort's underground areas. The hotel, built on a slope near the shoreline, had an extensive network of service corridors, maintenance rooms, and utility tunnels, designed decades earlier when the property was first constructed. Most of these areas were unused and poorly documented, sealed off after renovations. It was in these forgotten passages that investigators believed the key to Selena Farouk's disappearance might be hidden. Days of searching produced nothing until a maintenance worker, an older man named Caleo Torres, mentioned something peculiar. Years ago, he had helped seal an old service tunnel beneath the pool deck after it flooded during a storm. The tunnel wasn't on the current blueprints. It had a single entry point behind a locked metal door, painted over so many times it blended into the wall. The detectives pried it open, revealing a narrow, musty passage coated in dust and cobwebs. The air was thick and damp, and the faint echo of dripping water carried through the darkness. At the end of the tunnel, they found a small maintenance room. It was barely the size of a closet, its walls concrete and covered in rust stains. There, on the floor near a drain, they saw faint reddish smudges. They collected samples immediately. Later, forensic analysis confirmed what everyone feared. It was blood, and it matched Selena Farouk's DNA. That discovery turned the missing person case into a murder investigation. The search intensified. Divers combed the shoreline and the reef near the resort's private dock. It was treacherous terrain, sharp coral, unpredictable currents, and hidden crevices. After several days, one diver surfaced with a grim discovery. A large suitcase wedged between coral formations, wrapped partially in a torn white sheet. Inside were Selena's belongings, clothes neatly folded, her sketchbook, and a jewelry pouch containing pieces she'd been seen wearing in Dubai. Every item was soaked and coated with fine sand, but despite the personal artifacts, there was still no trace of her body. As investigators pieced together the timeline, they realized how meticulously Rayan had planned his actions. The CCTV footage from the service corridor now took on chilling clarity. The man resembling Rayan, pushing the heavy cart toward the basement elevator, matched the timing of the elevator being used at 2:50 a.m., a time when all staff were off duty. From there, it led down to the tunnel area where the blood was later found. Then, at 4:12 a.m., another camera near the loading dock showed the same man exiting with the cart, this time covered with a sheet that hung unevenly over the edges. Minutes later, he returned empty-handed. Detectives theorized that Rayan had used the housekeeping cart to move Selena's body from the suite to the maintenance tunnel, where he attempted to conceal or dispose of it before transferring it to the pier under cover of darkness. The purchase receipt for plastic wrap and cleaning supplies now fit perfectly into this grim puzzle. His careful, methodical personality, once admired in his architectural work, had been repurposed into something horrifyingly precise. For the staff at the Ocean Pearl Resort, the revelation was devastating. The image of their elegant honeymoon guests transformed into something sinister. Employees who had spoken politely to Rayan, who had smiled and served him drinks, now felt haunted by the memory. The housekeeper who had knocked on their door that final morning later admitted she couldn't sleep for weeks, her mind replaying the sound of his calm voice saying everything was fine. Yet even with mounting evidence, the prosecution faced a major obstacle. Without a body, the defense could still claim Selena was alive. Rayan's lawyers argued she had staged her own disappearance to escape marital conflict and financial scandal. They called the evidence circumstantial and pointed out the lack of direct proof of death. For months, the case teetered in limbo. Then came the final piece of footage. During a routine maintenance upgrade, the hotel's security team found a corrupted file in the storage system. It was marked as unusable, but a technician managed to recover part of it. The timestamp aligned perfectly with the night of July 9th, just minutes after Rayan was last seen in the corridor. The recovered frames showed something strange. The same service cart slowly rolling back into view, though no one appeared to be pushing it. The cart came to a stop on its own. Then for just a fraction of a second, a faint outline, a silhouette shaped like a woman, seemed to appear near the far end of the corridor before flickering out entirely. Investigators dismissed it as video distortion caused by water damage or poor lighting. But among the staff, whispers began to spread again. Guests staying near the basement entrance complained of strange sounds late at night. Soft footsteps, water dripping where no leak existed, and sometimes a quiet tapping on their walls. Even after the tunnel was sealed and the resort reopened, the room directly above it, room 908, was never booked again. Housekeepers said that no matter how often they aired it out, the scent of ocean salt lingered in the sheets, as if the sea itself refused to forget what had happened beneath its floors. Months passed, and the Ocean Pearl Resort tried to return to normal, but the shadow of the missing bride lingered. Guests still whispered about the couple from Dubai who checked in together but didn't leave the same way. The hotel management replaced carpets, repainted walls, and even changed the lighting in the hallways near room 908. Yet an uneasy atmosphere remained. Staff avoided working late shifts on the 9th floor, and several employees requested transfers after claiming they heard sounds in the night. Footsteps in empty corridors, faint knocks on locked doors, and the sound of running water echoing through the vents. Meanwhile, Rayan Al-Masri's case moved slowly through the legal system. He had been extradited from Los Angeles back to Hawaii, where prosecutors charged him with murder, despite the lack of a body. His lawyers argued there was no proof that Selena Farouk was dead and accused the police of mishandling evidence. Rayan maintained his innocence during every interview, his composure unbroken, his words carefully measured. He told investigators that Selena had grown unstable, that she had talked about disappearing, and that she wanted to start fresh somewhere no one knew her. But the calmness in his tone only deepened the unease around him. While awaiting trial, investigators continued to review every shred of evidence. They revisited the recovered CCTV footage repeatedly, trying to find any overlooked detail that could explain what had truly happened that night. That was when the hotel's IT contractor, who had been assisting with system upgrades, found an old backup drive mislabeled in the server storage. It contained recordings from the same week of Selena's disappearance. One file in particular was corrupt, titled Cam 12 Night. Forensic technicians restored it, and when they did, what appeared on screen changed everything. The footage began normally, an empty service corridor, dimly lit, the clock reading 2:50 a.m. It showed the man resembling Rayan pushing the housekeeping cart toward the basement elevator, as previously seen. The camera flickered, static rolling across the image. Then, for about 2 minutes, the recording froze. When it resumed, the scene had changed. The corridor was now completely still, but the cart had somehow reappeared in the frame, slowly rolling backward toward the camera. No one was pushing it. The wheels squeaked faintly, moving in an uneven rhythm. Investigators at first believed it was a camera malfunction caused by corrupted frames, but the longer they watched, the more unsettling it became. The cart stopped near the middle of the hallway, and for a brief instant, less than a second, a faint silhouette appeared in the reflection of a nearby glass panel. It looked like a woman's figure, hair damp, head slightly tilted. Her outline seemed translucent, as though made of mist. Then the image distorted again, and the screen went black. The recovered footage couldn't be verified as genuine evidence. Experts attributed it to digital interference. Still, it added an eerie layer to an already chilling case. Even hardened investigators admitted they felt uneasy after viewing it, with some refusing to watch it a second time. The file was eventually archived, its contents restricted from public access, but rumors spread quickly, and soon the internet was filled with speculation that the Ocean Pearl Resort was haunted by the spirit of the missing bride. As the trial approached, Rayan's behavior changed. He grew more withdrawn, often staring blankly into the distance during questioning. Guards reported that he sometimes woke in the night shouting Selena's name, insisting she was still in the room. In one psychiatric evaluation, he mentioned hearing dripping water and footsteps even when alone. His defense team dismissed it as stress and trauma from false accusations, but those who had seen the footage could not shake the connection. Despite extensive searches, Selena's body was never found. The ocean currents around the island were unpredictable, capable of carrying debris far from shore, but investigators quietly admitted they believed her remains were still somewhere nearby. Without a body, the case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence, and though Rayan was eventually convicted of second-degree murder, a portion of the public remained uncertain. Some believed he was guilty beyond doubt. Others thought the truth had never fully surfaced. The Ocean Pearl Resort attempted to erase the memory of the tragedy. Room 908 was sealed permanently, its number removed from the guest directory. Yet, hotel staff continued to report strange occurrences. Elevators would open on the 9th floor unprompted. The scent of seawater occasionally filled the hallway even on dry days. Guests in nearby rooms complained of hearing a woman crying softly through the walls, followed by the faint rolling sound of a cart moving down the corridor. Years later, the story became an urban legend among locals, a cautionary tale of love, greed and the secrets the ocean keeps. They said that if you stood outside room 908 at 2:47 a.m., you could hear the echo of wheels creaking in the darkness, followed by a soft voice whispering a single word that no one could quite understand. Some said it was a name, others swore it was a warning. Whatever it was, it lingered, just like the memory of Selena Farouk, who checked into paradise and never left.